For another part of this story, let's bring in NBC News Homeland Security correspondent Julia Ainsley. She has exclusive new reporting about the investigation into the Secret Service response on the day of the January 6th attack. Julia, good morning. So we know that the January 6th Select Committee will have another hearing tomorrow, the first one in a couple of months. And we expect anyway that some of these text messages may be part of that presentation from the Secret Service. Our viewers will remember a couple of months ago, the Secret Service said those texts were lost in a systems upgrade. What else did you find out?
Well, I learned that shortly after the DHS Inspector General said that the investigation into those missing texts was criminal, the Secret Service actually handed over 24 phones of agents who were involved in the events surrounding the January 6th insurrection at the Capitol. Now, we don't know what was found on those phones. We understand they're still in the possession of the DHS Inspector General. We also understand that some of the Secret Service agents were, frankly, a little bit peeved that their superiors came in and took their phones, but they do in fact belong to the government. They're Secret Service property. They handed those over, and there may be other communications that the DHS IG could get. They're doing forensic analysis on these phones. But I also think it speaks to kind of the black hole that the DHS IG's Joseph Cuffari's investigation has fallen into. We heard a lot about this after the last batch of January 6 hearings ended around July. That was a big topic because we wanted to know more about what the Secret Service was saying, particularly after we heard Cassidy Hutchinson's testimony. Then we understood that those text messages were missing and that the DHS Inspector General had launched a criminal probe. But really, we weren't able to find out the nature of that probe, why it was criminal, what statutes might have been violated, and why they launched that in the first place. All we knew from the Secret Service was that they believed that those text messages were gone as part of that systems upgrade. Now we understand there's actually been more probing, but it remains a big question about what Joseph Cuffari is doing. And we actually learned as recently as last Friday that some of his own employees think that he isn't doing enough and is sometimes standing in their way to do thoughtful, independent and thorough investigations. So a lot of questions now arise about what exactly that investigation entails into those missing texts and whether there might be a chance that we could see any of the communications that those agents would have exchanged that day, since we now know 24 phones are in the possession of Cuffari's office.
Well, that was my follow-up question to you, Julia. Either those texts were erased or they weren't. Is there a suspicion or a hope by investigators anyway that some of them may have been preserved somehow on these 24 phones that were turned over?
Yeah, I think that's the hope, or if it's not text messages, perhaps there's other information that you could get from these phones. But basically, it looks like it got to the point where they wanted to get in and see for themselves what kind of systems upgrade would have taken out all of these communications across all of these phones. And so now they're trying to see if there's a way they can get into it. Remember, there was this big question about whether or not we say erased. It wasn't that they had been manually gone in and deleted all these texts. But according to Secret Service, when they did this systems upgrade, they had restored everything basically back to factory settings. But we did speak about this at the time right here on Morning Joe when we talked about the fact that the Secret Service did ask its employees to take some measures to preserve those communications. So perhaps there's something that can be saved as part of this investigation. But again, there's so many questions about what exactly the Inspector General might be able to get and why we've heard so little about that investigation that is apparently criminal.
Yeah, January 6th, one date whose messages you may want to preserve. NBC's Julia Ainsley. Julia, thanks so much. And Mika, again, we may learn more about all this at that hearing of the committee tomorrow.
Absolutely.